Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandy Glaze. I'm a personal transformation and self-development coach, and today is December 14th, 2020. I live in Ontario, Canada, and a lot of things are happening around us energetically right now, and I'm finding people are a little concerned and uncertain about how to interpret the information or even how to process and go through this information. And what I want to speak to you about today is how to simplify your life. And as things become more complicated, we're getting information from so many sources now. There's people trying to enlighten us, show us the truth. There's people trying to scare us. There's people trying to indoctrinate us to believe their belief system. There's a lot of stuff coming at us right now. And when we know how to simplify and take a step back, then we can be more in our own energy, our own hologram, our own energy bubble, and not be as reactive to everything that's going on. And why I say this, I was away on the weekend and it was beautiful, just 3 days, no social media, or very little anyways. And when I came back, it's just all of a sudden all the messages are fear-based, the vaccines, and it's all coming up again. And now they're all freaked out about these people, 50,000 Chinese supposedly on our border. And so I spent a lot of time last night catching up and finding out what's going on, looking at what is being presented. Is there 50,000 Chinese on the Canadian-Maine border? I don't know. Do I care? No. Because I know if people on social media are talking about it, chances are the military knows it's there. The American military knows they're there. The Canadian military will know they're there. Am I saying all of those are good? No, I'm not saying that at all, but people have to discern. But I'm getting messages how afraid people are about this is going on. What is going to change in your life because that is happening? What's one thing that is going to change? Nothing, unless you're living right in the crux of that. So why I want to speak of simplifying your life, understanding what is yours and what is not. When I was away on the weekend, I was speaking with a friend and she was talking, we're going through a transition right now. We're watching the old systems fall away. They have no choice but to do it this way because people are so used to being in control. They're not going to let it happen unless it happens, I'm going to say with force, but not forcefully. So they have to really step in and say, no, these are the changes that are coming. But when I was speaking with my friend, she had said that there's two different teams right now. And she said, one is the destruction team taking out the old. And I agree with that. And I'm part of that. I can do that. And she said, and there's part of it, the new that's coming in. And I agree with that. We have to come back to more loving, peaceful, harmonious existence. So I can do both of those. And I realize I'm letting the old fall away. And I've been doing that for a while. I don't need to destroy. I'm not in the military. I'm not in the know. I'm not in a corporation where I can make a difference in letting some of these old systems fall away. I don't have the contacts, and that is okay. But I can see that it's happening now and have the confidence to know now it's time for the people who want to shine as the light and bring in more positive change. Now it's for them to bring their individual gifts, offering mandates forward. And so we can replace the good, we can replace the bad with good and not repeat more of the bad that we've had. So why all this is happening, I'm finding so many people are reacting to the energies around us. Humans are meant to communicate telepathically. We're meant to communicate innately. We're meant to communicate without verbal expression. We're meant to be able to read people's energy, understand what they're feeling, being able to see what they're going through and getting a sense of it and feeling that way. And because we become verbal, we've lost some of those other abilities. And what I'm finding is people are contacting me and they're saying, I'm so upset. And I say, why? And they say, I don't know. And the one thing I want to share a bit of an exercise today. One thing I ask everybody to do, ask yourself how much of this is yours. You can do that through muscle testing. You can do that through the sway test where you stand and you ask for a yes or a no. You're going to ask yourself some questions. Usually you start with, what is my name? And you say your first name. And if it's a yes, normally you lean forward. If it's not your first name, you normally lean back. That would be your no indication. So you test it a little bit. But what happens is when you start to understand when your body tells you what's right and what's not, you start expanding your spiritual muscle and start bringing more of your innate abilities up. This is what a lot of the spiritual growth is all about, being able to connect to your higher abilities that we've been encouraged not to know we have. So when I asked her how much was hers, she goes, I'm going to go for a walk. And I said, go for a walk, but ask yourself when you're out in nature, how much of this is even yours? So I saw her a couple of days later and I asked her, what answers did she find? And she goes, 90% of this wasn't mine. Well, the two of us just started laughing because you realize people are freaking out, but they're so out of touch from what's going on inside their body. If you're not reading the energy field, you might be freaked out over something that's not even yours. So I'm getting these messages about the Chinese on the border. And I'm like, go tell your friend who told you that to settle down because you're just contributing to the chaos and the anxiety. And if anything, if we know anything at this point in time, the dark energies, the black arts, whether you call them demonics, whatever you call them, evil people, it does not matter. They know how to harvest our energy through our emotions, and fear is one they use quite a bit. And that is what's happening with all this insanity. So I went through, I found an article on the 50,000 troops and supposedly somebody was shot down. I don't know whether that's true or not. I look into that part of it. The picture of these troops coming through a mountain range in Maine. And I'm looking at the trees and I'm thinking they're awfully green still. There's a lot of color in the trees. There's a lot of, there's a lot of yellow, bit of red, bit of brown. The grass, like there was still grass on the ground, or the grass was green. And I'm sitting here going, this is not a middle of December picture. Maybe it could have been middle of November. Maybe it could have been end of November, middle of August, or middle of October for sure, or sometime in the fall. But it was not a current picture. So we have to understand that they're going to use the technology instead of us creating our own vision in front of our eyes of what we want to experience. They are going to present that. You can see my phone needs to be cleaned. You can present that. They can present that to us through their ability to manipulate what we see. And if anybody's thinking they're not doing that, that they're not manipulating you by feeding you information, so you see that information and then you respond to it, then you are being harvested to feed their agenda. And we have to understand how this works so we stop playing in it. So yes, there's people taking down the what they call the deep state, the negative entities. There's people taking that out right now. A lot of information was just surfaced about documents leaked from China and the connection to Canada. Yeah, I'm not impressed with that either, but it doesn't mean it's not true. I don't like the thought that my government has sold out. I don't like that thought at all. Just because I don't like it, does it mean it's not true? No. And we have to understand that if we're going to have change happen, it's going to come in. Thank goodness it is being rolled in by people who I believe are here to do the right thing. But again, we have to see what's not working and also know what we want to bring in. So I want to talk, I'm going to go back to simplifying your life. So what are strategies for simplifying your life? One is live one day at a time. So I knew when I was going to go away for a few days that it was going to be okay, that I wasn't connected. I had a feeling I'd come back and, catch myself up. But those 3 days, I wasn't focusing on this at all. Other than we're talking about a lot of it, but I wasn't focusing on the information that was coming out from various sources. So it's like, well, I'll figure this out when I get back. So simplify your life, live one day at a time. Today is December 16th. I believe it's December 21st on the winter equinox. We're having a solar eclipse that day as well. So energies are going to change, and it's going to shift the energy for the next 6 months until I think it's going to be May of 2021 when we have another solar eclipse. So these energies are already affecting us, and it's okay that we understand that there's more going on consciously on our planet, in our solar system, and in the universe than what we could possibly ever imagine. So we don't know if we're wagging the tail's wagging the dog's wagging the tail. It's the way it should be. We don't know because there's so much confusion coming in. So who cares? Is anybody up to date on absolutely everything? I don't think so. I'm not. But I trust myself to ask myself the questions. Is this something I need to know right now? Is this something I need to do right now? Is this something I need to focus on right now? And if my answer is no, then what do I need to do right now? What do I need to focus on right now? And I always come back to the breathing, the monkey mind. If your mind is racing, always go into your breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Feel in your body as you exhale for a count of 8. And just let the feel that come in. What do you feel in your body? Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Feel your body. What is it telling you? Release for a count of 8. Slow down. Feel inside your body when you're empty. Do you have any places that are tight? What's causing it? Is it fear that maybe somebody put in you? Imagine removing it and just dropping it into the fire by the side of your chair. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. And breathe out for a count of 8. And as you breathe out, calm down. Are you worked up? Are you fearful? Do you have friends sending you texts saying, oh my gosh, the Chinese are here. They've been here for a long time, buying up properties, buying up utilities, buying up resources. This isn't new. The only thing that, if it is happening that's new, is they're trying to form and organize if they're going to go after the states. There's military people who are capable of taking care of that. That's not the average person. Our job is to protect ourselves right now. Imagine what we want to create in the world, because as all of these energies are changing more and more, we are getting to the point that we are starting to create and understand how we create through emotion. We don't create through fear. I know I talk about that a lot. We do not create through fear. We create through love and hope and optimism. So trust that everything is going to be okay. That is a big one for me. And I don't know why I feel everything's going to be okay. It doesn't mean things aren't going to be problematic, that it won't get darker before it gets lighter, but I trust I have what it takes for myself to look after myself. I said the solar eclipse, I was thinking it was the 21st. It's not. It's today that the solar eclipse is coming in. So we're getting a super boost of energy. I can't believe even in the last week how things have changed for me. All of a sudden this fog lifted and I'm working again where I'm supposed to be. I'm being very productive and I'm thinking, I always like to think I'm in charge, but I'm yes and no. I went through the dark night of the soul a number of years ago and I assumed I'd come out of it. And what I realized this week, I had not come out of it totally. I was still in it, still in trying to understand what was going on around me. But what is coming up right now, people are really getting productive again because we know these new energies are coming in. And when the winter equinox comes in on the 21st of December, what do you want to experience going forward? What do you want the next 6 months to look like? What do you want the next year to look like? Imagine it in a vision in front of your eyes. Imagine what it is you want it to look like. Where do you want to live? What relationships do you want to have? Is there something going wrong in your life that you would like not to have that problem anymore? Do you want a betterment for humanity? I always want the betterment for all of humanity who want it, because that's the only thing that's going to break down this hierarchy. Another one is desire to be the best person you can be. And I say this a lot, but we always aspire to what we're told to aspire to, whether a model or an actress on TV or a consumer item or something that we own or possess, or whether it's jewelry or vehicles or external sources of esteem. That's not. Aspire to be the best you can be. Decent, kind, loving, fair, just, considerate, joyful, blissful. Whatever is going to bring you the happiness and joyfulness and blissfulness has come in for me the last week. It's just all of a sudden it's like I'm not turning the switch on. It's actually just turned itself on, and it feels really good to know that things are going to be okay. What are you grateful for? You can write those down, a list of all the things you're grateful for. And what I normally do is I bring my hands right up to my heart chakra and I imagine I've got a ball, crystal ball. You can tint it whatever color you like. And I put everything I'm grateful for in my crystal ball. And I watch it and I put love in there and happiness and people in my life who matter. I put in justice, I put in fairness, I'll put in some of my belongings, definitely put in my crystals. I put in certain sentient beings I can feel around me. And I fill up my crystal ball so I can see all these words floating around inside my crystal ball. I'm grateful for the food I eat, where I live, grateful for nature, grateful for Mother Earth, grateful that I understand what's going on and I'm rising up to understand this even in further capacity than I've already learned. I'm grateful that things are falling apart that aren't working right now, and there's a lot of that. I'm grateful for my family. And I take that crystal ball and I bring it and I imagine putting it right into my heart chakra, my higher heart chakra. And I fill my whole body with all that I'm grateful for. And then I reach around to the back and I pull out my crystal ball and I send it off to the universe. And it's just a nice way to get in touch and feel, because you bring it into your heart chakra, all that you're grateful for. So that's one of my favorite ones. Trust in yourself. Trust you're going to make the right decisions for yourself, whatever they're going to be. Trust if you don't know, then you don't know. Trust if you don't know that you'll know when you need to know. Trust that nothing happens all at once, that it takes time for things to happen, that you're okay to be in the middle of this flow right now of all the changes that are happening. Trust you have the ability to discern for yourself what is true or not. Trust you have the ability to discern if you even want to talk about any of this right now or not. And that's not the same as putting your head in the sand and pretending it's not happening. It just means it doesn't have to run your life, which is rich coming from me, but that's another one. Have faith that everything's going to be okay. I can't explain it. I have faith that everything is going to be okay, regardless of what happens. And I can't explain it. I just have faith everything is going to be okay. But we shape this. And yes, you can be awake and you can still be nervous as can be and still be contributing to the negative energy and the fear by getting on and just, look at this, vaccine, vaccine, vaccine. Ugh, enough already. Trump announced today that the first vaccine went out. He's happy for the USA and he's happy for the world. And he talked about Pfizer supposedly was the vaccine company. He didn't talk about that. He said the first vaccine was FISA warrants. Arrests are happening. And if you know how much the mainstream media lies, you have to be able to understand when he's speaking in code and look for the little nuggets of silver lining that you know things are happening. Communication is happening with us if we choose to open up and listen to it. And again, we're not going to do that if we're in fear. Be patient. What's the hurry? We should be enjoying watching these changes happen because they finally are happening. Does it mean everything is going to be smooth? I highly doubt it. And it's no different than when you're planning on maybe an excursion and something happens and partway through you have to change your plan and maybe there's a construction and there's a roadblock and you have to turn around and go and find another route. Doesn't mean everything that is planned is going to fold out like clockwork. We don't know what it's going to be, but I trust the people who are making the changes are capable of understanding when something isn't working, reversing course or changing course and finding a new way to get where they need to be. So just be patient and know what's all happening. Who do you want to be? Your best self again. I'm coming back to that. Be curious. What is this new world going to look like when all the new technologies come out? And I am hearing from different sources that new technology, they're waiting on the sidelines for these new medical technologies and breakthroughs to come out. Trump has to get in again, and I believe he will. But so they're waiting to be able to share with us. Are we going to be excited when the new technologies come out, or are we going to be fearful? I don't know if I want to try that. Why? What is it? Who knows? And I don't get to decide that for anyone. People have to decide that for themselves. But trust all of this is happening. Trust more good stuff is going to come out. Show me how much better this world can be. Show me what I can do to contribute to a better world where there's no pollution. The waterways are clean. They aren't polluting the air anymore. Show me how we can connect relationally and have the best relationships and understand the significance of what our human selves and our human energy systems are all about so I can be my best self. Be curious about what's coming because I think it's all going to be good. So I'm just going to check. Was there anything else in there? Yeah, joyful and blissful. So again, how can you simplify your life? Because if you're just sending fear porn to everybody online, imagine anybody who's getting messages and you're getting 20 vaccine messages about, oh my God, they're going to kill you. You're contributing to the fear. Imagine a life where maybe those vaccine, the vials or the syringes are spoiled and they can't be used. Imagine them getting lost and they can't find them. Imagine people having an epiphany who work in the medical system and say, I'm not doing that. Imagine these COVID Nazi cops that are running around shutting out businesses and accusing people of not following the new rules that just changed a day or two before. Why don't you imagine them having an epiphany and realizing they're out of line? Nobody gave them the right, their little power tripping rights to go and do that to anybody's business. Imagine them having an epiphany and realizing, I don't want to do this anymore. So use your imagination to bring in what you want to see happening as the old falls away, but know that we're going to come back and we are going to re-establish a bar that's higher for the good. So it doesn't matter where you were 6 months ago, a year ago, we are all changing. We are all moving up into the elevated consciousness. We're uniting as one consciousness, and this is what makes this so fantastic to be here at this time. But it's starting to happen. The bifurcation's happening. We're seeing who's kind of staying the same way and who's starting to go a little higher. I don't like what I see sometimes. It doesn't matter. It's just my opinion. It's not more important than anybody else's opinion. But what I do with that is I look at it and say, I don't like that, but I don't charge it emotionally either. No, I don't like that. I can look at it and keep breathing into my stomach, into my abdomen, and not letting it land. I can practice clearing my energy, protecting my home. I can do all those things and still have fun and still know that good things are going to happen. So I hope this is a bit of a pep talk. Keep your life simple, spend time in nature, be outside, eat a clean diet as much as you can. Understand that these energies coming in are going to change our frequency, whether we're ready for it or not. So if we haven't been clearing our body, I'm actually starting another cleanse today. If we're not clearing our body on a regular basis, we're not going to be able to bring these new energies in and acclimatize with them. So we're seeing a lot of people losing their minds, saying really things that just don't make any sense because their electrical currents maybe aren't firing on a high enough frequency that they can roll with the changes that are coming. But we've got this. We were born for this. We're here for this. And this is why this is so exciting. But it's important that we simplify. Stay in your lane. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. If you know a family member who's getting a vaccine and you don't agree, it is their choice, just as much as it's your choice not to. I'm not saying which one is right. Do what's right for you. Love them no matter what. Love the people in your life no matter what, whether you agree or you disagree. Send loving, positive energy. So if they even do call you, that you're able to have a positive conversation and not bring up all the fear porn. It's really important that we understand how this game is played etherically and emotionally and spiritually. And if we're going to build a strong spiritual house, which we need to expand our spiritual muscles, we have to understand how to stay in command in our energy bubble, the hologram that we're in. So I hope this helps keep everybody on track, and just know you're worth it. We're all worth it. And it's starting to happen, and I am so excited. I have to work on the one. I'm not the most patient person in the world. That has not been my forte, and maybe I need to work on that a little more. But when I'm seeing things starting to happen, I'm finding my patience is coming because I feel I can breathe openly and not worry that things, I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop anymore. So anyways, things are happening. I hope all is well in your life. By all means, if you want to give me a shout, Sandy at endinggloballoneliness.com. You can visit my website, endinggloballoneliness.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and if you'd like some more of these videos, I'm not sure if I'm going to go into psychic protection because a lot of people are being attacked right now. A lot of people do not understand the technologies, how they affect your mind. And if you are not in charge of this thing is in charge of you. I cannot stress that enough, that you stay in charge of this. You treat it like an insolent child. I'm in charge. I love you. I want you with me. But this is why we have to do these things. And you let it know that you're not absorbing all of the negative energies that these electronic devices are firing out, because they're firing it out at a rate faster than I've seen. And I can tell by the comments people are making, as the good is upping their ascension and their frequency, the bad is trying to climb up and keep up with them. And that doesn't mean it has to be you who allows them to access you. So if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified the next time I come out and speak about ways that we can protect ourselves. I think that's where I'm going to go next. And remember, love is everything. Love is the frequency that heals. 528 is the frequency that makes everything better. So if you want to, you can go onto a binaural beat, like you can find that on YouTube, find one you resonate with, and just feel the frequency of love. Because while all the craziness goes on, we need people to help harmonize and just stay steady. Well, this is going on. Doesn't mean you can't see what's going on. Doesn't mean you're not trying to move yourself forward with your own plans. But just steady will finish this race. And we know it's going to be a race, but it's not going to be it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So hope you're well, take care, and enjoy the new energies coming in, because I have a feeling that we are in for some really exciting times. And I'm very excited for all of us. So be well, take care, bye-bye.